Ladies and boys, as well as gentlemen and girls, please welcome to the introduction to the world's greatest podcast introduction. This is The Drop, a.k.a. the Elbow Drop Podcast, brought to you by theelbowdrop.com, where we are always dropping the collective elbow on all things sports and entertainment. Straight out of Compton, I have with me the godfather of glitz, glamour, glory, and geekdom, Don Vito himself, and I am the illustrious avian man, a.k.a. the Birdman. My partner in crime, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing real well tonight, Labels. Another nickname for the Birdman. If there wasn't enough AKAs in that intro.
I didn't want to confuse people.
That's all right. We call Larry a bunch of things. You call him Larry, call him Labels, call him the Birdman. It's all good. Thank you for the introduction. It's a pleasure to be back at the Elbow Drop Podcast. It's been a while. We've been working on some things internally with the website. We've been working on some projects for the website. A lot of stuff that you guys are going to see coming into fruition soon. We have a giveaway coming up. We've been working on a lot of articles. We've been working on a lot of podcasts. And it's a pleasure to be back here, coming to you from the bird's nest, as you so aptly put. And I'm ready to drop the elbow on something tonight. So, we have with us tonight my cousin, my best man, and one half of the Comic Book Bobcast, Bob.
Thank you, Don. Great intro. Happy to be here tonight. As much of I'd say an honor it is to be your best man and your cousin. Even bigger honor to be talking about what we all love, wrestling tonight here on the Elbow Drop. So please, let's start.
Well, Bob, seeing as how we have you here.
Oh, thank you.
And you're from the Comic Book Bobcast, so you're an expert on this.
Hope so.
SummerSlam's coming up.
That's true.
We'll talk about the major theme of SummerSlam or whatever in a little bit, but you're a comic book guy. How do you feel about the Green Arrow teaming up with the Red Arrow, Neville, to take on Stardust and, for some reason, King Barrett?
I was going to say, the matchup is a little awkward with King Barrett being there.
A little strange.
People like him, so we got to use him. Aside from that, he's funny. He's a great hysterical character. Him himself is like a comic book villain on screen. He's got the whole King gimmick going, so I don't mind that too much. But having the Red Arrow, Neville, I love him. I'm happy to see him on a pay-per-view.
I hope they have matching outfits when they come out. I
really do. I was going to lead up to that. So you have Stardust, who I didn't really think he can mimic his brother, Step Brother Goldust, in lunacy, per se.
Yeah, no,
he has.
But in a completely different atmosphere, universe, per se, really. Mm-hmm. A different place among the stars, if you want to. And so he's doing that. He's got the whole superhero villain thing going, and he's going up against Neville Red Arrow with the actual Green Arrow from the television series. I love celebrities being involved in matches, but I hate them even more because most of the time you never really promise anything good. Snooky. But sorry, just the dust. Sorry, guys, but it could be good. It's drawn so much attention. They're going to Twitter. They're making this seem legitimate. I'm excited. I love the way it's being built, and I love who is involved.
Well, Don, I want to throw it to you in a second, but I just want to throw in there that I'm not a huge fan of celebrity involvement, but I understand it's good for business. It's what's best for business.
Like I just said, it gets attention. They're using him as tools to build up a match, so it's great. But I just hope this guy can wrestle, and God forbid you hurt him. He's a main-time actor, and you're going to get yourself in trouble. So I feel we won't get a fully flushed-out exercise match with three guys who can wrestle backwards with their hands tied.
I feel like as long as I feel like Stephen Amell, Green Arrow, he's very into it, but I was going to say, as long as the wrestler involved has respect for what he's doing and doesn't think that he's like, Mr. A-list celebrity and he's bigger than wrestling, I'm cool with celebrities being involved, and Stephen Amell comes off as being very humble.
Yeah, very humble. He's been very respectful. No real beef. Been very, very professional with it. And he's taking his spot seriously. Like I said, going to Twitter and other means of publicizing the event. So I am like a pig in shit. I'm very excited for this match.
Don, how do you feel about the King and the Dust teaming up to take on the Arrows?
You know what? I really like it. I feel like they've really thought out this angle very well. For the longest time, for as long as I can remember, since Neville's been on the main roster, they've been portraying him as this comic book superhero.
I'm enjoying that.
Even in his pre-match videotaped segments, the pre-match videotaped, what would you call that, matchup screen?
Oh, yeah, when he's, coming out.
Yeah, it's
pre-match
vignette. That's a good
vignette.
word. it's comic book-esque. It gives off the air of what a comic book is. And he is playing up the role of being a superhero within the WWE, to the likes of which we haven't seen since the Hurricane.
Yeah, well, that guy defies gravity better than any superhero.
He's a great wrestler, Adrian Neville. Neville, for those of you who didn't watch NXT.
Not the kid from Harry Potter.
No, not that guy.
Not the long
Not that guy. Yeah. But I love it. You know, Arrow's not a show that I have regularly watched, but I have seen a few episodes. I am familiar with the Green Arrow character, and I think it's a great business decision to have a character like that come into the WWE and wrestle a match alongside Adrian Neville, who was also portrayed in the same light, against Stardust, who is maybe taking it a little too far, asking for his superhero to his supervillain. But it's good nonetheless. And like Bob said, I can't really understand why King Barrett's in it, but I'm not complaining because I get to see King Barrett wrestle a match, and that's never a bad thing.
If I'm not mistaken, they brought back his Bad News Barrett persona.
Just recently, yes.
God, I missed that. Although King Barrett was great, I loved Bad News.
I did. I do love Bad News, and I'm glad he was King of the Ring. But I guess they kind of do have to cycle back to Bad News. But as far as Green Arrow being in the ring goes, I think kind of there's like no better match than superheroes in pro wrestling. They just kind of go together.
It's a perfect fit. Back in the 1980s.
And then Wade Barrett.
Yeah, back in the 1980s, WWE had this whole rock and wrestling connection where they, partnered up with Cyndi Lauper. And, they were doing this whole, WWF, pro wrestling, Hulk Hogan goes hand in hand with rock and roll.
Yeah.
And while that's true, I think there's no better comparison than to compare a babyface WWE wrestler to a modern comic superhero.
Yeah, the wrestlers, they say, real life superheroes to kids. And they were to us when we were kids.
It's dead on.
Yeah.
And to see that being personified on the television screen, at SummerSlam, arguably the second biggest pay-per-view of the year, is really going to be a treat for us to watch play out. Like Bob said, it probably won't be a full-fledged match where Mel gets in there and really gets, down and dirty with the other guys. But it will be something, and I think it's going to be something that the majority of WWE fans can enjoy.
Well, I think Stephen Amell, if the most recent Monday Night Raw where Stardust pushed him over in the audience and then he jumped the barricade, I think if his few little actions on Raw were any indication of his athletic ability in the ring, I think he's actually going to surprise us at the Barclays Center. Because that guy leapt up onto the apron the same way Brock Lesnar does, and he barely flopped on it. And then he got in the ring and he took Cody Rhodes down with a double leg, and, he started throwing, fixed punches at him. But he did a really good job. And then in the back, when he was cutting a promo against Triple H, he held his own.
I agree with you, and I hope that you're right. He did show some technical wrestling abilities. I'm sorry, professional wrestling abilities.
I mean, maybe they worked on that all day.
They might have.
He could take instruction well.
If they worked on that for a day and that was the outcome, then I'm excited for the match at SummerSlam.
I think he's taking it very seriously, and I think he wants to do a good job. And I think this is just it's good business, really, for WWE.
Oh, it's great business for WWE and DC Comics because let's face it, I'm not the best person to speak on this. Bob would be in this.
Well, that's why he's here.
This trio of podcasters.
That's why I'm getting paid, right?
Yeah.
But
yes, paid pro bono.
DC is not the top dog in the game of comic book movies, comic book television shows.
As of now, yes.
So this type of exposure that they're getting through the WWE is huge for them. And it's not even through a superhero like Batman or Superman, which is the two guys you think of when you hear DC. It's through a third-party character like Green Arrow.
Yeah, I mean, Green Arrow in the comic book world is pretty prominent. Like, if he's just called Batman with an arrow, pretty much. But same story, millionaire, parents died, trained themselves, blah, blah, blah. But he is prominent enough to where he can stand up within the Justice League, but at the same day, he's not to the quality of attention such as
It's believable
Batman.
that Stardust could defeat Green Arrow.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. You're right.
If Green Arrow, you see Green Arrow come to the ring, he's got the arrow.
I want to see that
and
so
but
bad.
But then one point he leaves it on the side because he can't bring it in because it'd be disqualified. Then Bad News and Stardust get it and just break it.
I don't care how.
That'd be so cool.
I don't care how fake or cheesy it is. I want to see him come out dressed as Green Arrow. I want to see a total comic book showdown, like a bad show at Radio City Music Hall or something like that. You know, with pyro and smoke screens, all that. That's what I want to see.
I think that's exactly what you're going to get, though.
I'm happy with that, and so is every other 7-year-old on the planet.
You know,
I don't want to interrupt you. Finish your thought.
I was going to say, it's going to be what it's going to be at the end of the day. And most of us will appreciate and be entertained by what the WWE delivers to us that night, as far as that match goes.
Hear, hear. But I was going to say, to get off topic, I brought up 7-year-olds. Speaking of 7-year-olds, 7-year-olds all around the world are looking forward very much to John Cena versus Seth Rollins, because every 7-year-old on the planet, his heart was shattered recently when Seth Rollins shattered John Cena's nose with his knee. And we haven't seen John Cena on Raw since because he's, quite frankly, hideous at this point. We've all seen the pictures. It's brutal.
I have one thing to say about what happened with that knee. Holy fuck, there was a lot of blood dripping out of John Cena's fucking head.
Oh, I mean, from someone who broke their nose, it's quite a bloody experience.
Holy shit. That ring was filled with blood. That rivaled Ric Flair's bloodbaths that he's known for.
It was intense.
Where his hair is dyed fucking red. John Cena was dripping pools of blood into that ring.
Yeah, Seth Rollins
and
did
it was fucking awesome.
Yeah. Brought you back.
Nothing against John Cena, because I personally like the guy.
Me too.
But it was awesome to see that much intensity.
Brutality.
In that match. Brutality. The violence. The blood. Vince, for whatever reason, decided to outlaw blood. Maybe he thought it was dirty.
Sponsors, bro.
Whatever it was.
PG sponsors.
There's nothing like a little bit of color to make a match seem that much more important.
Right place, right time. It could be everything.
Well, if I read, the world of the internet, because everything from there is true. Apparently, when Cena got two things interesting. When Cena got his nose busted, the viewership skyrocketed.
I believe it.
It skyrocketed, nearly doubled. But in the last recent few weeks in which Cena has not been present since his nose has been busted, the viewership overall has gone up like at least 10-20% now that he's not on Raw. So what does that say? I mean...
Yeah, but the viewership for Tough Enough went up with John Cena on it.
Well, that's because nobody knew he was going to be there.
That's well,
Was football on yet?
I don't know. We have time.
We're
in preseason,
I don't even know what night of the week Tough Enough is on. I'm going to be honest with you.
I have no idea either.
Yeah.
Thursday.
We are the elbow drop. We dropped the elbow. We're being honest.
We dropped the elbow on all things sports and entertainment. And this is the Elbow Drop Podcast where we talk about pro wrestling. And Tough Enough is not pro wrestling.
It's a game show.
It's a game show.
I tuned into it one time, and they were swimming across a river to get to the other side as fast as they can. I was like, wait, this is not wrestling. This is just... I'm watching people participate in a game show.
And there's a reason why the ratings for Tough Enough keep dropping week after week after week. That's not what we're here to talk about tonight. Most of you probably have not watched Tough Enough, but you have watched Monday Night Raw.
Well,
and if you did watch Monday Night Raw, then you would know that Cena has not been around, and the match now at SummerSlam is Seth Rollins versus John Cena. Winner takes all.
Yes. And...
very, very interesting twist, but it leads me to believe that there will be some kind of screwy finish to the match.
Yeah, some type of schmoz and Dusty finish, Rest in peace, Dusty. But probably something like that. Yeah, that's just a ridiculous finish. Perhaps Sheamus will cash in at the end, and maybe somebody will win clean. Sheamus will cash in and take the WWE title away from that person. Maybe he'll take it from Cena.
I don't see Sheamus cashing in just yet.
I'm just wishful thinking, honestly.
There's too much at play right now with all the other big players in the game. Sheamus cashing in is probably going to be held off until after WrestleMania, I think, anyway.
Well, I love the teases, even if they're just teases. I pop every time.
Yeah, the last tease was great. Monday Night Raw, he came out, he handed the briefcase over. That was a good tease, but they never rang the bell.
We knew Orton was going to mess with that, though. But I want to go back to Tough Enough for a second, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
Honestly, you brought up Tough Enough, or I brought up Tough Enough. I don't remember who brought up Tough Enough. But Hulk Hogan's a racist. Just throwing it out there. I mean, that's a
and a liar.
That's a big thing that happened since last we adjourned to drop an elbow. Now, I don't want to speak any libel or slanderous comments. Slander is spoken. It's not libel. I'm not going to write it, so just slander. But supposedly, the alleged theory is that Hulk Hogan is a racist, and supposedly there is audio or video proof to back it up. I've never heard it. I don't know. How are we feeling on that?
I heard a sound clip of it, and undeniably it's Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Just to set that out there, that is definitely Hulk Hogan that you hear on those sound clips.
Yeah.
How do I feel about it? I feel like it's just another case of the media trying to pry into a celebrity's life and cause havoc. I mean, whether Hulk Hogan is a racist or not really takes nothing away from what he's accomplished in professional wrestling.
I'm not going to lie, and maybe I'm putting myself out there right now. I'm not a celebrity, so it really doesn't matter. But I haven't heard Hulk Hogan's audio, so I don't know what words he used, but I imagine he used the N-word.
A bunch of times, sure.
I'm a white guy. I've said the N-word before. I've never said it maliciously. I've said the word before. No big deal. Am I a racist? No, but I have used the word. But I don't know in what context he was speaking.
If you've ever sang a song by any rap group ever, you've used the word.
But
Exactly.
hold on. For someone who
I have to look over my shoulder.
There's text documents, kind of like someone, I think TMZ, if I'm not mistaken, like they wrote it out.
What he said?
Yeah, and he kept referring to the gentleman as the N-word, particularly ending in ER. So he knew what he was saying. He knew he was using the word, and he somewhat used it in a way of judgment. So regardless if he's racist or not, he used the word in a racial manner per se. So just basically just to offend.
Here's what I got to say on the matter. Plain and simple. It seems to me like the paparazzi needed to find something to make a story out of. This Hulk Hogan thing fell into their lap. Hulk Hogan, said the wrong thing in the wrong place at the wrong time. It will blow over. This whole erase from WWE history thing will eventually come to an end.
Probably.
I can't see a reason why Hulk Hogan wouldn't be at WrestleMania 32. Vince is trying to make this the biggest WrestleMania of all time. He's pulling, no stops. I'm sure The Rock will be there. I'm sure Steve Austin will be there. I'm 100% sure that Hulk Hogan will be there.
Isn't the phrase pulling all the stops? Not that makes sense to me either, but you said pulling no stops. I thought it was pulling all the stops.
I might have botched. If I did, I apologize.
I might be botching. I don't know.
Either way, Hogan will be there in some capacity. He is the biggest pro wrestler to ever grace the mat. He's the biggest pro wrestler to ever lace up a pair of boots. You can argue for Stone Cold. You can argue for a bunch of guys. Truth is, Hulk Hogan is the most notable name in all professional wrestling. If Vince wants this to be the biggest WrestleMania of all time, Hogan will be there. No questions asked.
But at the same time, you have the sponsors. The same reason why we do not have blood or bra and panties matches or anything else that people grew up loving in the Attitude or even the post-era of the Attitude.
If Hasbro says no to Hogan, that's, or whatever. Mattel?
Just Mattel, whatever it is. No. Hold on.
I really don't know.
Here's how I see it. The elbow drop, okay? The elbow drop. Say I'm a third party
greatest
investor.
Podcast of all time.
The greatest freaking podcast. Anyway, I'm dropping a few $1,000, $100, $10,000, whatever. I'm making a donation.
Yeah.
It's the same way. Like, let's just say you were to like the Yankees. Let's say you have your name on one of their banners or something, or even on the elbow drop. You put my ad up on your thing. And you guys, something pops up. You stole material. One of you made some bullshit racial remarks like Hogan did. Or you guys did something very effed up. When people look at the elbow drop, they're going to look at those who helped funded it, who helped work with them per se. Even if it was something but a paycheck transaction, I'm still associated with you, so I look bad now. Fuck that. Get rid of you guys, or get rid of the person who said the remark and clean it all up quickly. WWE is making millions, if not even more money now. We're dealing with a major toy company like Mattel.
Oh, I don't blame them for
can't
their
let
decision.
it go. So even if it was Mattel or someone else,
either.
you can't. You have to do it. Erase him. Benoit him. What? Yeah. Benoit him. Do what you got to do. It's a $1 billion company. You got to keep it alive somehow. If you got to get rid of Hogan, get rid of him for a while. He'll be back, but not soon. He deserves what he gets.
Exactly.
In my opinion. I'm the biggest Hogan fan here.
You are.
You're the only Hogan fan here.
I like Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, sure.
I don't like what he said, but I like Hulk Hogan. But I wouldn't go as far as to say that. Not to sound like a douche, but I'm going to sound like a douche.
You will.
As soon as the next Kardashian story hits, or as soon as the next time, A-list, quote-unquote, A-list celebrity,
Next time Donald Trump says something
Next time
derogatory.
Donald Trump says something. Next time that another big story breaks to the extent that Hulk Hogan's story broke, Hulk Hogan's story will be all but forgotten about. And he'll show up at WrestleMania 32 to the cheers of millions of fans around the world.
I guarantee you, every black fan Hulk Hogan has is still a fan of Hulk Hogan.
Speaking of which, true story.
You don't know that.
I went to Cancun a week and a half ago. Cancun, whatever you like to say.
I say Cancun because I'm an idiot.
I was wearing my Hulk Hogan shirt on the way home from Cancun. Got off the plane with my Hulk Hogan shirt. I arrived at JFK, and I was waiting for the tram to take us back to the long-term parking. And a fellow of African-American descent came up to me wearing my Hulk Hogan shirt, and he said, "Do you really still believe in Hulkamania?" And I said, "You know what? I do." And he goes, "Me too. Amen, brother." And he fist bumped me.
Wow. That's a touching story.
That's a true story.
Yeah.
So you know what? People do stupid shit in their lives. People say stupid shit in their lives. The media over-exaggerates everything. And what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
I'm
no wordsmith.
I'm not either, which is why I'm having a hard time coming up with the right word.
What do they do? Tell me what they do.
They dramatize everything.
Oh, dramatize. That's a good word.
Ooh, what a big word.
Over-exaggerate?
They over-exaggerate it. They blow it way out of proportion.
You're right.
What Hogan said was wrong.
Yeah.
Does it reflect his true feelings? Possibly. Does it diminish what he's done in the ring and for the professional wrestling industry? No.
Well,
can fans of any color, any racial descent disagree with that? No. So does Hogan deserve to be at WrestleMania 32? Yes. Will he be at WrestleMania 32? I'd bet my bottom dollar that he would.
I'm glad you bet your bottom dollar. I'm going to raise you your bottom dollar. I'm going to throw you my opinion. I'm going to crack an egg of knowledge on you right now.
You gonna drop the elbow on me?
Drop the elbow on you. I don't really care what Hulk Hogan does or says personally. The only time I really ever cared when a professional wrestler did something personally was what Chris Benoit did. Not to get on that, because I'm not. But I don't really give a shit what Hulk Hogan does or says on a personal level. As far as you and your do you still believe in Hulkamania story, yeah, if you're a Hulk Hogan fan, yeah, you still can, because that's a character. That's not Terry Bollea. That's Hulk Hogan. The say your prayers, take your vitamins. That's a character that was created. I think I'm like kind of one of like very few wrestling fans who can like separate the persona of the character to the individual. And nowadays it's kind of harder because like a guy like CM Punk is a douche no matter how you look at it. He's a douche as Phil Brooks. He's a douche as CM Punk. I still like him, but he's a douche. But I think Terry Bollea and Hulk Hogan are just not the same person at all.
No, not at all.
And Hulk Hogan is like, you can believe in Hulk Hogan. That's a great role model. But Terry Bollea, not so much.
Not so much.
No, not saying he's
Terry
a bad
Bollea
man.
is a man who signed the check.
The Birdman
Hogan's a man who
wise
came
words.
out and
I try.
created Hulkamania.
We spent the last 10, 15 minutes talking about this Hulk Hogan controversy. And this is actually the first time that we're sitting down and shooting a podcast in the last couple months.
Yeah.
And the professional wrestling world has lost two of arguably the greatest professional wrestling personas of all time.
Yeah.
You know I'm talking about Dusty Rhodes, Roddy Piper.
Yeah, man.
Very, very sad to hear of that. On our Facebook page, we commented on it.
It's tough.
That we were, sad to hear about what happened, devastated, especially for Dusty Rhodes, who, the Birdman and I caricature.
He was an inspiration
in our Misadventures of Dusty and Randy skits.
Yeah.
And Roddy Piper, man, who was integral in WrestleMania 1 and has been a major part of professional wrestling before that and ever since that moment. It was shocking. It was sad. And we are very, very distraught to know that these two legends are no longer with us. But at the same time, we're grateful to know and to be able to relive all of the great things that they've done in their career.
Yeah, I mean, of all three sitting with us right now, I actually have a personal memory with Dusty. Back in February, I believe he was doing a signing at a convention, big event, I think, and I had an NWA title I wanted him to sign. So I walk up to him and he's like, "Hey, what's going on, man? How can I help you?" His typical sweet voice, and I'm like, "Hey, pleasure to meet you." "Oh, thank you." And I'm like, I hand him the belt. He goes, "What do you want me to sign?" And I'm like, it's your belt. You sign it." He goes, "Thun, I want it. You bought it. Where do you want my signature?" And I just cracked up. Like, "Wherever you, here." And I just randomly pointed to the point with eyes. He gave it to me. Great. It was the best 12 seconds of my life. It was funny. Piper never had the fortune. He was supposed to be around here in November, but that's not going to happen. But yeah, I shed a tear when I got news of both.
We actually, Monday night after Raw, I was at the Bird's Nest along with the Birdman and Mikey Balls, and after Raw we decided to turn on the network, and we watched Table for Three, I think they call it on the network. Table for Three with Mean Gene
and Mr.
Paul
Wonderful
Orndorff and Roddy Piper, and I believe it was the last thing that was released that Piper filmed, other than that TMZ interview that he did.
Yeah, it was the last thing he did for WWE, I believe.
And it was something. It was very, very interesting from this point in the game to watch what Piper was saying on television.
You don't get the same type of stories. That's my favorite thing to watch in all wrestling, is that documentary style interview, one-on-one, where the guy's just telling you stories. That's why I like watching the Hall of Fame sometimes, because that's when you hear the most interesting stuff. And that's what Table for Three was. And you just don't get that nowadays. You don't hear a great story like that from Kofi Kingston. Sometimes they have amusing stuff, but Roddy Piper will tell you a story about how he got arrested and then bailed out the same night, and then he got arrested again, and him and Flair were stuck in bathrobes outside of Holiday Inn. It's just...
It was a great watch. It was really very, very entertaining.
Unfortunately, some of those poor decisions they made back then led to certain untimely demises, with drugs, alcohol, and just the rock and roll lifestyle. But Roddy Piper, man, I mean, he's like the Keith Richards of wrestling, or Mick Jagger,
Yeah,
the best bad guy of all time.
I can't argue with you. I really can't. The only guy that comes to mind that, it might rival that is Ric Flair, maybe. But
I think at this point, at this point in both of their careers, they're both seen as, legends, babyface, Hall of Famers, but to an extent, Flair more than Piper, just because of the name that Flair carries with him. Not to diminish the name that Piper carries with him, but Piper will always be known as that bad guy, that guy that you wanted to jump over the guardrails and beat the shit out of.
A lot of people
because he was that good at what he did.
And he knew it.
And nobody will ever touch that. Nobody will ever touch that.
I don't think there'll ever be anybody to generate as much heat as Roddy Piper. Ever again, probably.
Roddy Piper, from the elbow drop, rest in peace.
Dusty, same to you.
We're sad to see you go, but we know that card in heaven is building up. And it's definitely better than what WWE's given us today.
That's true. There's a lot of... I'd rather watch the dead wrestlers than the live ones.
Well, I mean, Vince's dad's up there. He knew how to make a card, so...
Except for Benoit.
Who?
Yeah, I don't know who we're talking about.
Oh, that independent wrestler, Chris Benoit.
Yeah, Chris Benoit.
He's coming up in, Montreal, right? He He's having a lot of controversy over his name, Crispin
His
Roy.
name crosses my mind right across my face. What was it? Sorry, I'm just I just headbutt myself. And maybe I'll remember.
He's a Native American wrestler from
Yeah,
Canada.
yeah, I know.
Crispin Roy.
Nah, I don't know who you guys are talking about.
But anyway, how about we return back to the SummerSlam card?
Yeah, I know. We were talking about Brock Lesnar anyway. So, yeah, Brock Lesnar is taking on Undertaker at SummerSlam. That's a pretty big deal.
That's a huge fucking deal.
Biggest party of the summer, biggest match of the summer, Brock Lesnar. Biggest rematch, rather, because these guys fought 15 months ago at WrestleMania, and Brock Lesnar just decimated Taker, ended his streak, pretty much did it with relative ease, and now here we are 15 months later.
We've been watching the Brock Lesnar Undertaker saga unfold since 2002, 2003.
That's true.
And
Undertaker has never defeated Brock Lesnar.
It has really been something amazing to watch these two guys for all these years go back and forth.
And Brock Lesnar has dominated The Undertaker in his two specialties, and that's Hell in a Cell and WrestleMania.
Yes, he has. You're correct. But what I really want to say is, I believe it was 2 Monday Night Raws ago, when Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker had their little back and forth brawl.
Yeah, fantastic.
The locker room cleared out and they tried breaking it up. That angle has been done 1,000 times with 1,000 different guys. That was executed so well that I've been excited since that moment to really watch this match. I'm into it. I'm sold.
Done very
I'm
well.
hooked.
Yeah, I think what I really enjoyed most, honestly, was one, they did it right place, right time. Just it was convenient for the Lesnar-Rollins match to draw attention away from the fact that the finish wasn't clean. But two, that Taker, he seems like he's in great shape, number one. But also, it's not super clear where he's coming from. Is this like I feel like he's a hybrid of the badass and the dead man,
Almost.
Because he looks like the badass, but he comes out to the music of the dead man, but he talks like the badass. Like when Brock said, "I'm gonna kill you," and he goes, "You're gonna have to." Great.
Badass.
I mean, exactly.
That screams badass.
Absolutely badass. That was Undertaker at his most badass.
Now, let me ask you guys a question. Leading up to the eventual return of The Undertaker, which, some of us may have been able to see, some of us may have not been able to see, Paul Heyman would be coming to the ring, and he would gloat about, Brock ending Taker's streak.
Yeah. They ought to put his mouth in a circus, man.
But he would also insult Kane, who is off of television right now.
Yes.
And before he was off of television, he was back and forth in this angle with Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins and Kane are friends. Now they're not. Now they are. Now they're not. Seth Rollins loved Kane's. Now he's disrespecting him.
Are you about to drop a theory?
No, more like a question than a theory.
Okay.
Do you think that a Kane return with the mask will play any part in this Brock Lesnar and Taker feud?
Certainly could.
I say no, don't bother, because why would you? Why? What?
Not would you, but do you think that it will happen?
Best case
It
scenario.
will happen, possibly.
Best case scenario, the match ends, the finish is clean, Kane makes an appearance. In your theory, or your question, best case, match ends clean, Kane makes an appearance. Worst case, Kane makes an appearance, and the conflict between Brock and Taker is yet unresolved. But I do like this Kane theory, Kane in a mask coming back, and maybe this is what it was building to, Kane coming against Taker one more time.
Well, I don't think it really takes a rocket scientist to realize that, Taker is definitely on his last leg as far as performing in a professional wrestling ring goes. Kane is right behind him. Neither guy has much time left in the ring. I'm sure Taker wants to go enjoy the rest of his life.
Taker's semi-retired anyway,
and millions of dollars with his beautiful wife, just doing whatever the hell he wants to do and not have to worry about the pressure of performing at another wrestling event. Kane is right behind him. The only difference is that Taker has been able to take that time in between and relax. Kane hasn't. Kane has been at every show, every live event, doing what he does, and he's been killing it. I think the work he's doing now only rivals what he did during the Attitude Era, and nothing else Kane has done since has come close to what they're doing at those 2 points in his career.
I have a lot of respect for wrestlers in general, but Kane is somebody who, especially because he's managed to last. He's managed to adapt and evolve over the years.
If I could throw my 2 cents about Kane,
you can.
I've thrown a whole dollar. He has stood around, but I feel because he's been around for so long, his character has diminished and really means absolutely nothing but just another on-screen presence.
I think that's why they had him join the Authority.
He's literally down, like just nosedived. He came in as Kane.
The Kane-a-Rooney.
They say, hold on, it's building to that.
Hey, don't you dare disrespect the Kane-a-Rooney.
Kane came in, Tombstone Taker. From there, he went on to fight Taker and then Mankind and many other great rivalries. And then he did the whole tank top gimmick, which was a bit more silly. He kind of stepped away from the whole Jason Voorhees killer in a mask gimmick per se. It was more fun. He talked. Then he disappeared for a while. He came back with the open mouthpiece, and he was nothing but personality, and it worked great. Okay, he wasn't as good as the last one before or one prior, but okay, he's cool. And then he came back with fruit roll-up on his face, and it was just terrible. I think he's just gotten worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And I think he needs to either stop, come back with a full mask, and fuck shit up, but I don't think it's appropriate to have Kane ruin the Lesnar Taker fight. And I say
it's
ruin because you, I think it was you who said it. He beat Taker at his 2 best games, Mania and Cell.
Yeah.
I get it. Kane had one great debut at one great event, and it just happened to better it. This would not be one of those.
Yeah, this
is something that needs to be stuck strictly between Taker and Lesnar. That's it.
That's why it's the best case in your hypothetical. Kane comes out after a clean finish. But really, I'd like to see this end between Brock and Taker.
Oh, I would too, for sure. But
maybe a rubber match at Mania.
You can't ignore the Kane aspect that could be thrown in there.
That's true. He's off making a movie with Ziggler, or he was. I don't really know if it's still filming. But I know Ziggler's expected back very soon, so Kane should pop in very shortly as well. So only time will tell what he's going to do, because it seems like the Authority has just diminished. There's no, like, Jamie Noble and Joey Mercury haven't been around.
Yeah, what happened to them?
Well, Jamie Noble, like, got his ass kicked by Lesnar when he broke the car. Broke ribs or something like that. So I don't really know what they're up to. Big Show is doing his thing with Ryback and Miz, and they're fighting for the IC title.
For whatever reason,
at SummerSlam.
Who gives a shit?
That's okay.
That's going to be my bathroom break.
It's not the greatest,
That says something. I'm sorry, Lat, to interrupt you.
Please do.
But Bob just said that's his bathroom break.
Yeah.
That is a testament to what the Divas are doing nowadays.
Exactly.
Ryback should not be Intercontinental Champion.
Ryback shouldn't be wrestling, period.
He shouldn't be IC The IC Championship is in a state of flux. It has been for many years. Same with the US title. And it's in a point where it needs to be rebuilt and legitimized. And Daniel Bryan having it was great, and it's unfortunate what happened to him. But putting it on Ryback was just the bad move.
Bad idea.
Ryback could have it after a few legitimate, real good champions help. But Ryback, as much as I like him, no.
Not the guy for it right now.
Exactly. So that match is what it is. You know what? It's just like it's a bathroom. It's filler. I hate to say it, but it is.
Miz, I don't know why he's still around. He sucks. He was never good. It still kills me to know he was champion. We just shit all over Ryback enough. And Big Show's another guy too. His character, he's just been around. He's too simple of a character to where you can't stretch that far apart from. And he's just become boring. Oh, he lost weight. He's more agile. He's dropping elbows and donkey punching guys. Okay, cool, but I'm getting bored. I'm getting tired. I'm so fucking tired of seeing him carded with like Reigns and shit. Please stop. Whoever's booking that match, fucking stop. But anyway,
I hope they do.
He's got to just
Reigns is with Ambrose taking on 2/3 Wyatt at the.
I'm hyped. That is a beautiful match.
You could never go wrong with that.
No, never.
If you throw any Wyatt family against any Shield, you cannot go wrong.
I think the entire Shield versus the entire Wyatt family was bigger money, but you know.
Of course it was, but you still can't go wrong.
Unless like Bray Wyatt hurts his ankle before the fucking match again.
I hope not. I hope to God. But I really want to see a beatdown, a brawl. You know, I think these guys should just beat the shit out of each other. I
That's
feel
what
like
it's
this
gonna
match
be.
should be like a street fight. You know, where they should just.
I don't expect to see much technical wrestling in that match. Reigns is obviously a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Ambrose is a lunatic. Wyatt's crazy, and Harper's just a brute.
Yeah.
I don't expect to see much technical wrestling in that at
No.
all. It's definitely going to be just a straight up old fashioned fight between the two teams.
I hope so. I really hope so.
I think that's gonna serve as like a very like tasty appetizer for the rest of the main events and all that. Because you got Cena, Rollins, and you know whatever. We talked about that. I don't really care who wins, honestly. I mean, it really has no effect on me. It's probably going to be some type of dusty finish, whatever, yada, yada. But then we also got the tag team match.
The Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match?
Yeah, which I hate that WWE just constantly throws the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match together. Like, oh, let's just throw all the tag teams together in one match. But I'm genuinely interested in the New Day. I find them hysterical. I love watching the Lucha Dragons. Unfortunately, Cesaro and Kid, they were cut down in their prime. But the primetime players...
I like them, yeah.
Yeah.
The only, ugly duckling in that match is the fucking Matadors.
Yeah,
And who gives a shit about the Matadors?
The bullshit twins.
The
bullshit twins.
Exactly.
As Mikey Ball
people
said.
gave a little bit of a shit when they brought out El Torito, and he was, hopping around because it was a spectacle.
Yeah.
But once the novelty of that wore away, again, who gives a shit? Because,
El Totino.
no disrespect to the wrestlers under the masks, because they're great. But the gimmick is not over, and the fans don't care.
It's there. It's okay. You're just a tag team. In the 90s, that would have worked because they had so many different ones, but nowadays it's just like, oh, you're just there. Nobody cares because we can't, connect with you on a personal level.
Exactly.
I don't know why we were able to do it with Rey Mysterio, who was in AAA. He'll be fighting Sin Cara, actually. The original Sin Cara. Whatever. That's not in the WWE. That's not at SummerSlam.
He's doing his own thing, making a killing in the Indies.
Oh.
Sorry. I couldn't
he's not a
resist.
What are you talking
Ouch.
about? Yeah. Anyway, Rey Mysterio killed a guy. What?
I might want to lay it low for a while.
No, yeah. You might want to find a safe house.
They're going to send him to Sicily for a few years.
Yeah.
Get married, and his wife's in a boat in a car explosion. He's going to be betrayed by one of his amigos.
One of his amigos. Oh, that was good, Bob.
I'll be here all week.
Rey Mysterio's going to sue us, and he'll get nothing because we
have nothing.
Yeah, we don't have much.
We have the elbow drop, and you cannot have that.
Yeah, you can't have the elbow drop. We drop the elbow on all things, sports and entertainment.
And the only thing you drop the elbow on is a dead guy.
Oh, it was a drop kick, I thought, though.
You're right, it was a drop kick.
Yeah. But as far as SummerSlam goes, I believe that's all the matches, with the exception of, the Divas match.
You got the Divas match, which, again, like we said...
It's a clusterfuck.
It's a clusterfuck. I'm looking forward to seeing these Divas break off on their own and really, start to create their own characters within the main roster. For now...
But this is a great start. They've finally...
It's a good start, sure.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good match. I don't doubt that for a second. It's not what it could be yet, but they're building toward it, and I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with it, too. Bob, you okay with that?
I don't have much really to throw in there, but I'm a fan so far.
The only other match that I could think of that we haven't touched on, and I don't even know if they officially announced the match, but I can't see a reason why they wouldn't go forward with it, is Cesaro and Kevin Owens.
Yeah, that could be a match on the show. I mean, they're going 4 hours, so they may
I'm
as well.
almost sure that I saw that it was a match, but WWE goes back and forth with their stuff so much that you never know for sure. But
it'll be a show stealer either way.
Let's go with the idea that is going to be a match. Owens Cesaro, you don't have to watch any more pay-per-view after that match because you will be completely satisfied as a professional wrestling fan to see these two guys go at it in a squared circle. Give them 20-25 minutes, and you're happy.
You're exactly right, but I just thought of something because you brought up Owens and Cesaro, and there was the third man in that triple threat last Monday on Raw, Randy Orton, who's taking on Mr. Money in the Bank, Sheamus.
Yes, you're right.
Who could play a part in the world title match
They
between
could.
Cena and Rollins.
The Don's personal opinion. I've seen Orton and Sheamus so many times before. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, you take the Don's personal opinion.
I don't give a shit what happens in the match. That'll probably be my pee break, and whatever happens. I like Orton.
Well, I mean, I plan on drinking a lot.
Whatever
so I'll have
happens,
a long
happens.
break. Yeah, Orton. I've been tired of him.
I chug a
since-
beer during that match.
It's probably how fast it'll last. I have not been a fan of Orton since like 2007, 08. I'm just, pardon me, 09, 2000. I was like, the time I stopped caring. He kept getting busted for the drug busts. He'd come back. He'd be not what he used to be when he was younger.
He hears voices in his head.
He's
and
hearing voices.
They
in
all
his
say, "Do
head.
coke."
They say, "Do coke, punch the mat, break your wrist," And
No,
I
they all say, don't do anything, collect your millions, and retire healthy.
Nah, and do coke.
crash your car.
No, there's anything wrong with that. You can do coke.
Sheamus, I'm so goddamn tired of Sheamus. I hate Sheamus. He was never good to begin with. He was fun for like a month and a half.
Some
He
people
had,
like
I'll
Sheamus.
put you through a table, fella. That was just one highlight. Now he has the tentacles hanging from his face. He looks dumb. He is a dumb character. He is not fun to watch wrestle in any way, shape, or form. He can't fucking selfish shit. He is terrible. I don't know why he's still in the main event fucking picture.
For all you
Sheamus.
Fallout fans, Sheamus is a real-life Raider within the WWE.
He looks like one, yeah.
Sure, but he's the Viking they should have left in fucking Norway to drown. Like, I hate him. I can't stand him. And Orton is a shell of what he used to be. That's gonna be a piece of shit match. Terrible. You have someone who can't sell, someone who doesn't know how to wrestle.
Agreed.
What the hell's gonna happen now?
I want to defend it, but you're probably right.
No, please, by all means, bring it on.
I said I want to, but you're probably
But
right.
he can't
Yeah.
because Sheamus sucks. And Orton doesn't give a shit.
Compared to the rest of
That's
the
what it
matches
is.
on the card, it'll look like shit regardless.
It's been on Raw plenty of times, and it
Yeah.
still looked like shit.
We've seen the match a million times. There's no reason to do it again. None.
Or throw a stipulation at this point. Make it a no DQ. Falls count anywhere.
I still wouldn't give a shit.
You're right, but a stipulation could spice it up.
Like that's exactly. You'll kick it up a bit.
So
Like how many times have we seen Kane and Taker fight?
Oh man, a lot.
So many fucking times. But those stipulation matches between the two is when we honestly really gave a shit.
Now you're
love the fire
crossing
matches.
a territory there, Bob. You're talking about
No, I'm not.
Randy
no.
Orton and
Sheamus compared to two legends. No,
two
but no.
upper mid card guys.
But what I'm saying is,
against two of the biggest legends to ever be WWE creation characters.
You're guaranteed a great match between the two. But if you throw a stipulation, you're guaranteed a perfect match. You have a shit match between Sheamus and Orton, but you're guaranteed at least a decent match. You have some kind of brutal stipulation.
All right, we're overrunning our time a little bit here. We don't want to keep you guys too long on this podcast.
Well, that's all the matches that are taking place at SummerSlam, as far as I know, right? Unless there's
I'm
a pre-show,
Yeah,
which there probably will be.
Watch me the tag match.
I'm sure you could see R-Truth in the pre-show. I'm sure you could see Zack Ryder in the pre-show. Check it out. Truth vs. Ryder. Calling it now. Whatever it is, it is. We're going to wrap it up here at the Elbow Drop. It's been a pleasure to be back here shooting the shit on all things sports and entertainment, with the Birdman and Bob from the Bobcast. I had a great time tonight, gentlemen, and I'm sure that you guys did as well.
Certainly, man.
Certainly, absolutely.
We'll be back again next week. Same time, same place. Be sure to check it out.
Same elbow drop time, same elbow drop channel.
There you go. This is Don Vito.
And this is Bob from the Bobcast.
And this is the Birdman.
Have a good night, guys. Don't forget to drop the elbow.